Let's start with the we got this bit
Oh,
then.
my exes live in Texas. Okay, now I'm getting in the mood. Yo, guys, welcome, listeners, watching us, watchers, blah, 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 blah. I'm still in Buena Onda, in Puerto Escondido, Pacific Coast, Mexico. I love my life here. I guess the guy who's sitting right now next to me loves his life as well.
It's beautiful. This is paradise.
Shout out to Nari, guy from London, 36 years old right now.
Man. Yeah, 37
exactly.
in a few days.
And he's on the road for how many months?
We
years?
see now that. So I've been out 2 weeks now,
Yeah.
and then hey, we'll see. I think I'll go back when I get homesick, and we'll take it from there, man. I mean, who knows when that will be? Might be
Going
6 months,
back
might be
when
9
you-
months, might be 12 months.
Going back when you feel homesick, fuck man, that's
It's a nice feeling, man.
yeah, it's
you know,
a really nice
you know.
feeling. So you got no limits at all, right?
Not really, man. Nah, just I suppose just the money. At some point, like
Sure, yeah.
you know. But hey, out here, like, was it $2 to eat, $1 for a beer? You can live for quite a long time on not much money. It's not like Australia or New Zealand where everything's expensive, and then you're really gonna feel it out
Or
there.
London as well, right?
London's ridiculously expensive, man. Yeah. So, hey, I have enough money to go around South and Central America. I'd like to do a little bit more, maybe Bali, Indonesia, and all that sort of jazz. But we'll see.
Are you thinking about Asia as well?
Yeah, a little bit, because it's you can go that way round home for me, like you know, back
Okay.
towards Europe. You go either fly from here back straight into Europe, or here through Bali, maybe do a bit of India, and then keep going.
Funny thing, man, because I was thinking, I mean, my initial plan was traveling through whole Latin America,
Yep.
but the more the time passes by, the more I'm in my thoughts in Asia. Like, I don't know, man, because I'm training karate
Yeah.
every morning, and this kind of connects with Asia as well.
Yep.
And there is this inner feeling just to go there, you know, this
Hey.
intuition.
It's not a bad way to go home, man. You know, it's a long way, but it's
Of course,
it's a good
yeah,
way to go.
you
And
know.
you know,
But
you travel when you can travel, man. So if you got the time, you got some cash, go do it now, man.
time is now, right?
Yeah. I have a phrase on my phone. I got it in a Madrid hotel. They give you like a little thing, and it was like what the weather is today, and I'll have to dig it out for you. But it's no hase hora. I can't remember what it is, but ultimately translates to if not now, when.
If not now, when? And that's the reason why you're traveling right now, right?
Pretty much, yeah. That's just how it worked out.
Wh-
You know, things.
May I ask you why?
Yeah.
How did the idea come up to make it, like, to do it now? Because
So-
you're obviously a little bit older than
Yeah,
me.
I'm a little bit older for doing a gap year, you know.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
36, 37, you know, I mean, I could get back when I'm 38. 38's old to be doing a gap year, but it's just how it panned out. I've always wanted to travel. Really always wanted, as a child, wanted to go to, like, Australia and New Zealand, and I played a lot of cricket as a kid, so really wanted to go out there and do a season. And as you do, you know, work, you think, oh, yeah, maybe this year, this winter, you get a promotion, something changes, you get a new girlfriend, and you just delay it. And then I got to a point where I was like, if not now, when? And, you know, a couple of things fell into place. Had a rough breakup with a girl. Had a big accident a couple of years ago where I was in Spain, I broke my leg, broke pretty much everything, ended up in intensive care.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that changed my mindset a little bit. So all of a sudden I was like, man, I have the cash. And it was if not now, when? My flat lease was coming up. I'd just completed 2 years at work in like quite a nice job. And 2 years is a good time. Like if you leave after 6 months, it doesn't look so great on the CV. 2 years was perfect. And it was like, I think in total I did 2 years and 1 month to the day. Like, and that's just how it worked out for me, man. So yeah.
So, because you told me, like, time is now,
Yeah.
but you didn't have this mindset in your 20s then, right?
I think in the 20s, like, you know, and you have to go through everything. So the 20s for me was all about just drinking, boozing, partying, like go. And I've always been a little bit like that, super type A, like go, like, and it became things on a tick box, tick. I've done this, yeah, I've done this, yeah, I've done this, yeah. You know, I drove the fast cars, drove big cars, you know, went boozing, bought fancy clothes, and and, you know, you do all the things that you're led to believe that you should do. And not to say that that's the way that you should lead life. You know, you're marketed in a way now that you need to, if you don't have this watch, then you'll never be happy. If you don't have this, you won't be happy. Yeah. You know, I got to the point, I was like, well, I've done them all, now what? Like, I'm still not exactly not that I was ever unhappy, but you wouldn't say like, oh yeah, I feel like quite content with my life now. No, it was never like that. So after readjust, have a little think, decided, I was lucky. I worked with quite a few people who had done some traveling, and they were like, you'd really like South and Central America. It's your sort of vibe. So, at some point I was like, right, I have 20 grand in my pocket. Let's go do it. What else?
Would you just pretty radical regarding questions and everything, regarding fancy car, fancy clothes?
Yeah.
If you're really, really honest to yourself, did you buy it to impress somebody else, or did you buy it really for yourself?
No, you're always buying things like that to impress somebody else, or to keep up with the Joneses, or
Appreciate that honest.
No, it's true, and maybe that's the joy of being a little bit older now, that you look back on these things and you go, well, and I say this now with people now who like a lot of drugs, a lot of this, a lot of that. You're just self-medicating to cover up the fact that you're not happy with the way your life is going. And that's just where people are at, But you're marketed now that, you won't be happy unless you drive the new BMW. You won't be happy until you bought the, whatever it is, Levi's, or what's the big one at the moment? Pick any brand, Hollister, JW, whatever it is. I don't know what you guys are getting in Austria. Something similar.
Yeah,
it's all the same. I mean, let's be honest. Once upon a time, you went around Europe. Everybody had a little different fashion, a little bit going on. Everybody just buys Zara and H&M now. It's just international brands marketing and peddling the same shit. But can I cuss? Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah.
Man,
got a little bit late down the line.
That's not like a podcast with some limitations, restrictions. Like whatever is in your mind, talk.
That's how we go.
Tell me, really. And so, maybe to go a little bit more back, you grew up in London, or in some parts of England?
Just outside a big city called Leeds, about 200 miles north. Probably most famous for having Leeds United Football Club. Probably before your time, but Leeds United were top of the league, top of the Premier League in 2000, going into the millennium.
Yeah, you've been playing Champions League back then. That's something that I just know, but I of course I didn't experience it consciously.
No. But yeah, I mean, that was a super good side, and then I think 2 years later we were relegated, and it just, the wheels tumbled. So that's how Leeds goes. But yeah, I grew up in a small city outside Leeds. Really nice, real pretty area. Good friends. You couldn't really argue with it.
You had
and then,
or you're still having a good life, I guess. And you had a good life growing up there.
Yeah, it was a good life. And I maybe got to a point where I needed to go do something else. So 5 years ago, I moved to London, and that was purely career based, if I'm honest. And it was good to do. It was a very different city, and they say. And I will say, if you can make it in London, you can make it anywhere. They say that about New York. I think it's the same about London, because it's quite hard, it's quite fast, but it's good fun, man. It is good fun. I can't fault it for that reason. And it did maybe not what I wanted it to do, but it gave me what I've said this before to somebody else about, and we will go on to this, I'm sure. Plant medicine, like mushrooms and things like that.
Okay.
They don't give you what you want; they give you what you need. And London gave me what I needed. Changed me a little bit.
Okay, you got this analogy.
You like it? It's one that someone taught me, and I quite like it. Did you go up to San Jose?
No, I didn't. I'm not that type for these things, to be honest.
You see, it's I never really was, but something recently, there's definitely something in it. 100%. You come out here, and the natives, and they have quite a big plant medicine culture with hallucinogenics, and you've got plenty of mushrooms here. You go to North Mexico, you have the toad, like buffalo toad, and you smoke the venom. There's ayahuasca in Peru and all these, and I'm sure there's other ones. The medicines give you what you need, not what you want.
That's man, in general, in terms of drugs, I'm the complete other extreme. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. I mean, I was drinking when I was a teenager and student as well here and there. Complete normal thing, more or less. I don't know. But in terms of drugs, I'm as I said, the complete other extreme. Maybe I'm not that open-minded to it. You could describe it as well. But I just let's say in terms of the synthetical drugs, I don't get it, to be honest, why people are doing it. I just don't get it. And in terms of these natural drugs, I guess I don't get it, but the more I talk to other people, the more I'm thinking a little bit more positively about it, you know?
I think,
Or I don't have at least any judgments regarding that.
I think in the last, what was it, the 70s, and they had the war on drugs and like, we've kind of always been told that drugs are bad, and you only take pharmaceuticals. And now when you look at the stats, you have a population that's everybody's depressed, everybody's taking Prozac, or and then you go like, well, maybe they weren't so bad. And then I don't know whether it's a conscious thing that's going on in the world, or whether it's just kind of just lucky timing that a couple of things, and people are now starting to get back into psychedelics and trying to open up their mind, and people are trying to relieve their depression. I can't tell you whether this is a right or wrong answer for everybody. Some people might say something like mushrooms and have a great experience. The 2 times that I've done it, I sat and I had a little chat with myself for pretty much 4 hours, meditated, chatted with myself. Yeah, I'm not happy with my life. I don't like this. You do this? Why do you do this? Yeah. You do this because you're trying to be it's your ego or whatever, and you have that chat with yourself. For me, they were really good. But for somebody else, they might take them and just laugh and just start seeing things and just enjoy the trip. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But some people have bad trips.
Can you maybe describe this experience more into detail? Like what exactly happened when you took them, and what did you exactly think? Or was it kind of like a feeling that you never had before?
Yeah, it was like my whole body was uplifted. But I seemed to be able to go into such a deep thought. And I just kind of just meditated, and I was like, well, why certain things that that you go through in life, like the accident that we touched upon earlier, and in reality, I was going to go traveling at that point 4 years ago, and it kind of put me back, but it taught me some life lessons, did the accident. And sometimes you forget about these things, and you go like, well, yeah, I learned a lot in that accident. Like, I was super focused, super really, really determined, man. I was in a wheelchair for 8 weeks, and I was just like, right. I was like, Doc, get me out of the wheelchair. I was telling him every time, Doc, I'm ready. Let's go. I was like, let's go to the next level. So, yeah, I mean, I had a couple of revelations on my mushroom trip. None that I really want to go into, because some of them are quite personal for me.
Sure.
But they were kind of like, you kind of look at certain things. Like and I'll say this, I'm quite masculine in my energy.
Yeah.
But which is probably why most of my friends are female,
Yeah.
Because I feel that it kind of balances me out a little bit. But it's only something that I realized recently as well, that, that's the reason I do it. Yeah.
When I'm thinking about things like these, like getting these revelations and getting enlightened in that way, just my opinion. I guess you don't, because you told me regarding mushrooms, it gives you what you need.
Yeah.
I guess you could go to this point without taking it.
Yeah, definitely.
You think as well?
100%. I'm sure that if you really cleared your head and meditated every day and really live your life in an honest way for you, which, let's be honest, it comes back to what we were saying, that people don't live their life in that way. They kind of, you're marketed in a way, so therefore you go, like you said, as a student you drank, but you don't drink now.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
You don't drink as much now. Or,
yeah, like maybe I have this 3 times a year or something.
Yeah. And that's how you want to live your life. But when you turn on the TV and it's always the people are boozing and everything, every video you watch, every movie, every rap video, they're always in a club drinking, Cristal and, big gold chalices and things like that. And it's not just marketing in terms from the companies, it's marketing from everything that you see now.
Yeah, so...
yeah, I mean, if you live your life in an honest way for you, and you're saying like, I'm 100 with my heart, that this is how I am, then yeah, I'm sure you get there much faster than I did. Definitely.
That's the thing that I'm really... it's not bothering me. I'm thinking about it like for the last couple of, like, let's say the last 2 years, like really intensively, because there's one sentence that stuck in my head, what my brother told me once, and it's like super, super basic, but sometimes you need specific people to say a specific thing, to tell you a specific thing, and then you get it.
Yeah.
Like, he once told me, like, there's no fucking reason for not being honest. And as he told me that, I was like, actually, yes.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, he's right, man. And it was like, was I stupid? Like, why? I mean, that should be, of course, that should be the most normal thing.
Yeah.
But it kind of wasn't. And since then, like, I was really trying doesn't matter who I'm talking to, whatever, just to be honest, just to be a good person in the end. And it kind of like changed my life more or less as well, to be honest, because doesn't matter what I said, like if it's a positive or negative thing, I got a positive feedback afterwards, because they, like, doesn't matter who, they appreciated that I was that honest.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Like,
and he's right. Your brother's so right. There's no reason ever not to be honest.
But that makes me thinking about like the fact how fucked up sometimes our society is. That is something. It's like so special to be honest, so special to be positive minded. But it should be like so, of course.
Yeah, it should be a standard thing, you know. And if everybody was more honest, I'm sure we'd have a better world. But you're either trying to hide yourself, or you think you're protecting somebody else, and you're not. You know, ultimately you're protecting yourself when you do these things.
Do you have a can you reason that, or do you know like why it's like that most of the people are more the way they shouldn't be, like living life unconsciously, doing shitty things without thinking about it actually?
Nah,
you don't.
Nah, never thought about it. Not deep enough. I'm sure we could come up with some theories.
I was like, I don't know. That's the fact that I mean, there's one book that I'm reading. I really love it. It's called The Miracle of Mindfulness of Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh is he's a Zen master from Vietnam, and during the Vietnam War he escaped, and he been living in France, Germany, and especially in the United States.
Yeah.
So he's combining these Eastern values, this Eastern culture with the Western things, and he's talking about the basics in life. And I was always about thinking about these basics in life. Actually, I just need food, water, let's say warm temperature, like just to be
warm enough,
like warmth in general, and family. And then he was like saying things that I never thought about. You need air as well, because air is the very, very basic. If you don't have air, you're gonna die immediately. And I was like, he got the point. He got the point.
Yeah, it's true.
And then he was like, in this book, he's actually writing a lot about the breath, how important it is, but especially about mindfulness, consciousness. And that made me think, fuck, a lot of people are not conscious.
No, they're
like
not.
just doing like, they're not living, they're functioning, you know?
Yeah.
And
but then, is that a part of modern society in the way that governments almost, you know, from a very young age, you go to school and you're taught, you sit down, you shut up for 6 hours, you learn this, and then you go do what you need to do. And it's almost drilled into the kids. And I'm not really sure it's the best way to educate the kids, because you've seen the current crop of people that we have now, you know, definitely not as conscious as they should be.
Exactly, man.
But then, not everybody can be the queen bee or the queen ant. You know, you need worker bees, worker ants. Somebody's got to collect the pollen. So as much as you know, everyone, I'd love it. Yeah, everybody's conscious. But if everyone was so conscious, they'd be all sat on the beach meditating all the time, coming up with ideas. No one would be doing any work. Maybe you need the different types of, you know, and not just I mean that on a more global scale as well. Like, you need different personalities, and that's what makes humans so unique.
Exactly. Yeah, but even though let's imagine everybody's gonna be conscious as fuck. Even though everybody's conscious, I guess still most of them would have, like, of course, different personalities. Yeah. But their values will be more similar.
It would be nice.
Would be nice. Yeah. Like when we're talking about values, like, let's say, being kind, being patient, being empathetic, like things like these, you know. But of course, nobody's gonna have the same level of empathy, of patience, or so there are gonna be like some differences, but differences in a good way. And fuck, I forgot what to say, to be honest.
Well, I mean, some of that could be greed, but who knows? I mean, we now live in settlements where we live in towns and cities.
Yeah.
And that's quite a recent thing when you look at human evolution. That's 10,000 years-ish. Whereas for the previous, from the time the first mammals evolved out of the ocean billions of years ago, we just were nomads.
Yeah.
And if you look at most animals now, they're still nomads. You know, they stay within their confined area, but very few will almost set up their own little city in a way. You know, I would say even ants, from what I know. They set up their colony, but at some point it moves on as well. You know, maybe it's because we're not meant to live like this in cities, and you know. But who knows? I mean, that's way out in there.
that leads me, because you're talking about ants. I read a blog once about a guy who his name is Tim Urban, and his blog. You got a fly in your hand.
It was an ant.
Nice one. And this guy, Tim Urban, he has a blog called Wait But Why. So he's investigating some things, and then wait, why is it like that? So he's trying like to find a lot of reasons. He's like doing a lot of research, and he wrote a fucking long article. It's called The Story of Us, the story of the society. He wrote the last 3 years on that article. So he didn't post everything like on one day. He's like just week after week releasing some chapters. And there's this one theory that like, it's called emergence. Like, that's not a theory, that's a fact. Emergence is like how animals in general live with each other. Like, for example, spiders can be alone. Fuck that. Like, they can live their life completely alone on their own. And ants aren't like that. And single ant would be useless as fuck.
Yeah.
It needs a colony. Yeah. And he has this theory that humans are the same. Like, because we all seek for this sense of belonging.
Yep.
We need that. We can't be alone. Of course, we can be alone for a specific time, but not for the rest of our lives.
It's true.
Because if we want to exist, like with a healthy mind and a healthy body, we need people around us. Because if you want to know yourself deeply, you have to study yourself with other people. Otherwise, you're not going to know how.
No, it's true. It's true, and I think, religion's got a lot to answer for, but at least people had a collective belief and a thing that they did. Whereas the collapse of modern religion now has kind of left people a bit kind of like, well, what do? And you see this now with people that they become super into whatever it is. Like, the modern one is veganism. Like.
Yeah,
and they're all trying to out-vegan each other, And then you hear like, there's a guy from the documentary What the Health.
I don't.
Have you seen it?
No.
It's a Netflix documentary. It's not a documentary. It's vegan propaganda. Because there's no counter argument in there.
Yeah,
it can't be a documentary. What? I've got a dog.
No, a dog is passing right now, or microphone cables, but everything good. Perfect. Okay,
nice.
Continue.
And now he's going to protect us. Yeah, there's a guy who was in there, and he was one of the main proponents of like, look at me, I'm super healthy vegan. And then he came out like 6 months, 12 months later that he wasn't healthy. And rather than the vegan community going, maybe you do need meat in your diet, your N equals 1, maybe you do. They just lambasted him. They were tearing him a new one, I hope you die, And I was reading this guy, and I was like, what, and it's the same as religion, and people have just replaced it with whatever it is now. Whether it's football, you look at the firms, as we call them in England, like in the hooliganism that goes with it, and my and everybody's identity now is with that one thing, and you're seeing that more and more. And people who don't have that look really lost. Whether it was religion or whether it's football or whether it's veganism. Say now, I know a few people who don't have that, and they don't really associate with anything, and therefore they're just like, well, I feel a bit lost because they don't have that sense of belonging.
That's right, though. That's 100%.
And
in that case, of course, you have to decide for a thing that you want to associate yourself with for a good thing. It shouldn't be like a complete stupid thing where you maybe harm somebody else.
Well,
because this firms thing, like in football, hooligans,
football hooliganism is.
They're like. Of course, like when you're like pretty enthusiastic about your football club, everything cool, and if you're like celebrating it, but if you're like hurting other people, that's like another thing. That's stupid, in my opinion. Like.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. But hey, this is the world we live in now. It's changing though, don't you think?
The example with the veganism, like with the vegan, for example, that's a complete extreme in my opinion. Same thing like with hooligans. Hooligans, like you can be hooligans are supportive of football clubs, but they're like extreme supporters of football clubs. What is shit? And in that case, that doesn't matter actually. That's just my theory. Or not my theory, but I guess a lot of people are thinking like that. It's all about balance in the end.
Yeah, it is.
Of course, if you wanna be healthy as fuck, like if you consider being vegan healthy, okay, do it. But I got to know a fitness trainer before I left Mexico. Shout out to Verena. Good fitness trainer. And she's not like that typical, I'll go to the gym every second day and just exercise and be. Of course, you should be disciplined, but if you have this inner urge to eat this fucking cake, eat it. if it's like just a thought, like I could eat it, but I don't have to, then don't eat it. But
Yeah,
if you like really, really want it, do it, because you're gonna do something good to your mind in that case.
Yeah.
And in that case, it's,
Well, I think if you really sit, I know it goes back to what we were saying about earlier, but if you really sit with yourself and you go like, well, why do I want this cake? Now the question is, I need the cake because I'm hungry, I need it because I want it, or I need it because I'm bored. And I see a lot of that now where people just eat junk food because almost they're bored and it's like, oh yeah, cake, oh yeah, I'll eat that. But that sets off a chemical trigger, you release a dopamine and da-da-da. And then 40 minutes later, you're going, I'm bored again. Well, what did I do last time for the hit of dopamine? Oh yeah, I had some cake. I would eat some cake again,
Good
But if you really sit with yourself, and I've done this before. I remember going into a store and I was so hungry. And I was like, why am I always hungry? And I was always craving like junk food and stuff. And I seen a milkshake.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, I'm not eating enough protein. And I knew it straight away. And as soon as I saw the milkshake, I knew it. But if you don't sit with yourself and understand, like, how different foods make you feel, you're never going to understand that. But you can only do that, really, if you, in my opinion, start eating just single ingredient foods, Does pizza grow on a tree? No, we probably don't eat pizza, Think about things that, how you grow them. Can you eat some fresh carrots? Yes. Cook them, fine. Can you eat meat? Yes. Meat is still a single ingredient food, no matter which one you pick.
Yeah.
If you put 4 or 5 single ingredients together, you're going to have a really good, healthy meal. It doesn't matter whether you have, in reality, it probably doesn't matter if you have loads of meat in there or not. But what does matter is it's single ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the biggest notion for that one.
Good one. You made me think more about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole, you go rail down the weeds with nutrition.
But in that case, because you were reflecting yourself in the end.
Yeah.
And how did you come up to this point? Have you ever thought about this? Why am I reflecting? Or was it always happening automatically?
I think I've always been a reflective person. I've always looked at situations and gone, why? Or, could I have done things better? Or, what went right? What went wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just one of those as well. And it was almost like an epiphany in the store, looking at this yogurt, chocolate milkshake going, I just need to eat more protein. And it was that simple, man. But if you don't sit with yourself and you don't take time to understand and work yourself out, you're never going to have them.
Yeah.
You're just going to go, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I want more junk food. Well, why? Well,
because we were talking about drugs before. Junk food is a drug in the end as well.
It is. It really is. I mean, if you look at caffeine, I would say probably caffeine and cocaine, I would imagine they have this pretty similar effects on your brain.
Yeah.
You can't see there's much difference. You spike your dopamine, you spike your cortisol, and you end up essentially with the net same effect. I said this to someone, and I would love to see it, the same universe or same world we have now, and we have cocaine as a legal substance and caffeine as an illegal substance at 50, 100 pounds a gram or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder what the world would be like. Would we all going, oh, caffeine's really bad for you? Oh, yeah. You want a coke? You want some cocaine? Yeah. I'll just mix you one up now, and
Shit,
I mean,
man.
it would be an interesting, experiment to see.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I guess
who
we're
knows?
not gonna make this experiment, or we're not gonna be able to do that.
Well, I don't know. I suppose if all the governments in the world legalized it and then taxed the hell out of caffeine, but I don't think it's ever going to happen, man, like that.
But still, it would be quite interesting, though.
Be a cool social experiment to see.
Yeah. Social experiments in general. I love that. I just love that, man. Man. I just, you were talking, I was talking, and during that, I was thinking, man, we're talking about this. I was quite I was satisfied. And we're going from this topic to this one, to this one, to this one. And
yeah,
I enjoyed that
doing
conversation,
that as well.
to be honest, man.
Yeah. It's amazing how you can go down one little path and it just spirals, and you end up somewhere completely, we're way over here somewhere. Yeah, let's come back over here, and then you go down it again. That's kind of the joy of a conversation as well, man.
Maybe that will be because I didn't ask you, or for everybody who's listening and watching. Before we started this podcast, Nari was asking me, you could follow my Instagram page. We got this. So I guess now is the time. What is it all about?
So I had a real big accident. I went on a friend's stag do. We got a little bit drunk. We went to cross the road. It's a little bit of a busy road in Marbella. For anyone who's been, you'll know the road. it's the beach is on one side and pretty much everything is on the other side. And it was half a mile to the roundabout or half a mile to the flyover.
Yeah.
And we decided that we were going to cross the road there and then. And I got hit by a car. The road is somewhere between 80 and 110 Ks as a road. I'm not sure quite what I got hit at. I have no memory of the whole thing. And the first thing that happened, I woke up in hospital and they'd actually strapped my arms to the bed, the tube down my throat. I had no idea where I was. I sat there. I remember looking up at the ceiling. I was like, fuck. Just breathe. Breathe through my nose because I have this tube in my mouth. I must have passed out again, fallen asleep. Wake up the next morning, doctors wake me up. My brother's in there. There's a video. I'll give you the link for it. It's on YouTube.
All right.
Yeah. And I literally sat there. I had no idea how much problems I was in at that point. Like, I'd broken my pelvis, snapped my leg in two, I had massive concussion, I'd broken my arm, broken 2 ribs. I was in intensive care. I was in intensive care for about a week, and I turned around to everyone. I was like, "Don't worry, I've got this," and it was just so calm like that. Like, yeah, and that's where the phrase came from. Don't worry, I've got this. So now it's not just me saying I've got this. Like, I want to pass it on to everybody else. Don't worry, we've got this. No matter how bad you think life is, things get out of hand. Don't worry, man. Take it step by step. We go day by day. We got this. And that's where it come from. So I try to do something a little bit positive with it now. Where it ultimately spins out, who knows? I mean, at the moment, it's kind of a mixture of inspirational stuff, me obviously doing this trip, a good way to keep in touch with people, and, hopefully it sprawls out into something else. If it doesn't, I'll have enjoyed it, and at least I feel like I've put back into the culture and back into society, where you can't just take all the time. Somebody has to give. You played football, I played cricket. Somebody had to coach me or you to do these skills.
Exactly, yeah.
You can't just take and not put anything back in. I see it a lot in England with the cricket clubs where you have maybe 4 or 5 people who are doing all the work. They're doing the coaching, they're organising teams, their wives are making the food on a Saturday, you're running the bar, everything. And everybody's paying their money, everybody's happy to pay their money, but nobody ever wants to do some real work. Then, the grass needs cutting this weekend. Anyone give up some time and take the strimmer out and go, no, I'm too busy. We can't keep going like this.
I guess that's maybe, but I would say that's a sign of maturity to getting more
True.
To this, or to develop this habit to give.
Yep.
I would say, because I didn't have this like a few years ago.
Yeah.
But since a year and a half,
yeah,
I'm developing it. I still know that's something that I read like in a book before, The Defining Decade. Shout out to Anna Pau who gave me this book. I read that the human brain in the 20s isn't completely developed. It's developing until the age of 30.
Yeah.
Especially the frontal lobe. And because of that, human beings in the 20s are doing irrational stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that I'm like feeling now how my brain is developing, but I feel at least the difference how I feel about giving something back, sharing something. I put it over anything else.
Yeah.
Before this podcast, I was sharing some nuts with Nico. That was the best thing ever, sharing food, man.
It's so good.
And
one thing that I like to do, so go into a restaurant, take your food, pack all this up, and I'll just give it to the homeless guy outside.
Good one.
Why not? I mean, come on. These guys got nothing. Like, some of these people, they're all in their own situations, and I'm not really one for giving. Definitely wouldn't give homeless people money, in my opinion, because you're into a very grey area. But you've got half a sandwich or whatever. Give him half a sandwich, man. Let the guy eat. Some of these guys are really homeless, man, and I've seen it, especially in London. And in fact, me and a friend of mine, he does this quite a lot. We went to the Kabbalah Center, and they do a thing where they make sandwiches with, I think people donate bread, and the people donate some, sandwich fillings. We made hundreds of sandwiches and rolled them out to homeless shelters. And it was a really nice thing to do, and I was like, yeah, this is what people should do more of, give back. But we don't, we're too busy in our own lives and in our own heads at the moment.
I mean, what is good, not being too busy, but I support the quote, be selfish in order to be selfless.
It's true.
Because, of course, at some point, you gotta focus more on yourself to figure out what you actually want. And after that, if you figure it out, you can give a lot of back.
It's true.
And
It's
that's
true.
actually something that you want to do. For example, even with
Yeah.
this Instagram page, you're giving back value,
Trying.
valuable lessons, valuable thoughts.
Yeah.
What may inspire this or this girl and completely change their mind.
Who knows? Who knows, man? I mean, like, so when I broke my leg, I was a week in intensive care in Spain, another 2 weeks in a Spanish hospital, then another 3 weeks in an English hospital. Then they sent me home and I had, they call it an Ilizarov frame. So it's like, it was 4 discs down my leg, and all the discs are bolted together, and then in between the discs, they drill through the bone, and they like attach wires at either end of the disc. It's pretty hard to explain. I think you probably have to set up a picture. But I had to have that on. I had that for 12 months. So I went back to work after 4 or 5 months. I was back in London with a crutch. But we got another dog. You coming through?
Dog, come on,
Come on,
dog.
better.
Yeah.
So I was, back in London, and because of having something like that on, you go back to the hospital and you meet loads of people, and they're all having the same experiences as you. So it's, yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I've got this really odd rash thing. Yeah, I had that. Put this, go ask the doctor for this cream, and there's part of the giving back as well, though. And people see you and they're inspired by you because you're, I remember this. I had a backpack, my laptop, and probably like one pair of clothes that I'd take around with me. And then I was in shorts, so it's winter. It's London's pretty cold, 5 degrees or whatever.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't have a real cold winter that year. And I'm in my shorts and a blazer. Still put a shirt on, still put a blazer on, still put like smart shorts on. Went out, did everything I need to do, go to work, and then people are looking at you like, "Wow, it's amazing that you're out here hustling still like that." Yeah, to me, it wasn't. But to someone else, maybe it inspires them to go, yeah, if you can do it with one leg, maybe I can do it with 2 legs. So,
We got this.
we got this. That's yeah. It's funny, man. I just said that to my cousin earlier. He's having a bit of a hard time, man. And I was like, don't worry, man. He's like, I feel like I'm failing at life. I don't know what I want to do. I was like, don't worry. So you're not finding things that you don't like. What you're doing is working out. You're working out now what you don't like. So when you find something you do like, you're gonna love it. But back to it. Yeah, by 30 you should have a wife. You should have kids, and That's not how everybody's life goes. It's not everybody's life is written.
That's right, though. Like, there is no specific formula
Nah, man.
for life. So, yeah.
If you'd have told me 10 years ago, man, I'd be sat on a beach recording a podcast, in Mexico, and I'd have quit my job, I'd have thought you were crazy. I would have thought you were absolutely out of your mind. But 10 years is a long time, and you change, you grow, you learn different things, you meet different people.
Because of your cousin, because he's figuring out some things that he doesn't like. And what about you? Because you're gonna do this trip and everything, and you don't have a limit at all. Like you,
Not really.
do you
no.
know if you come back to London or England in general, what you're gonna do, or
No.
you're now figuring it out? more or less?
I'm refiguring it all out. I have a feeling, ultimately, I was quite good at IT and doing what I do, so I'll probably go back to it. I've still got to pay the bills, as much as it'd be nice to sit there and do it probably won't work out like that, but maybe I'll be able to go back part-time, or maybe I'll go back to it now with a new vigor that, I've seen the world and I've done these things, and, I've experienced different things, different cultures, and sat with different people. I mean, we were sat here last night. There was me, you. Right, so you're from Austria. We had Steve's from Belgium. Nico's from Montreal.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were all having a jam.
And Bartolomeo, the other Canadian as well.
Yeah, and we had a Canadian, and we had a couple of Aussies here. And, you just interacting with such different people, such different, and I think that's amazing,
I'm trying to maintain this consciousness about these moments, like, all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sitting there, then I'm like, in my brain, I'm getting laid back, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is so dope right now, man.
It is. It
Shit.
really was last night.
It is. But like,
Yeah.
you're not these 2 guys like playing guitar, singing a little bit. We're enjoying, and when you look around, you see that everybody's enjoying, just having a good time, and like and even this fact, man, so many different cultures getting along with each other that good. That is so.
Different cultures, because you're part Serbian, half Serbian.
Yeah, like my parents grew up in Serbia, but
my parents
was born
are,
in Austria.
born in India. Such different cultures, and we've all lived in different places and experienced different things. But yeah, we can all sit around here, have a beer, and jam.
Exactly.
I watch the
man.
guys jam and appreciate it for what it is. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
So fucking beautiful,
Yeah.
really, man. That's a thing that you definitely learn when you're traveling.
Yep.
Like to get along with other cultures, with other nations, so good. Like
Yeah.
to realize. I mean, I would say in our case, it was like always normal. I grew up like with a lot of
Yep.
different cultures, so completely mixed cultures.
Yep.
It was the most normal thing for me.
Yep.
That were like living in a globalized world, blah 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 blah. Everything is the same. Everybody is the same, but.
Yep.
I would say at least the generation of my parents, they weren't like that.
Yep.
They were like a little bit more, okay, let's keep
Yeah.
it like this circle close.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in quite a small village, and it's interesting. Like all the kids at my school were all like me. Like, yeah. You're just a new boy. Nobody cared, but you could feel it. Like, it was an old mining town. There was still a little bit of racism. There's still a little bit of that far right in there. And it was, when I look back at it now, and it's nothing like, well, I can't say it's nothing like that, but it's definitely got better than what it was. It's an interesting shift, Some people like really embraced us as a family, and some people, I remember having our windows put through once or twice, man. And, it was just how it was back then, Early 90s was still not the way we are now.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know, we have different crime now, different types of racism, so.
That's right, though. But even though there is a lot of negative stuff going on here and there, comparing it to the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, whatever, it's getting better.
Oh, it's
in
much
some
better.
part.
I
Like
think
there are
so.
a lot of people putting more effort in contribute. Like here we are again in giving.
Giving back.
And I guess that's the thing. Doesn't matter how maybe how fucked up your mind is sometimes. You're always gonna have these two inner urges. The first one to be happy.
Yep.
And the second one is like to give something back.
Yeah.
Like, and when you give something back, you're getting appreciated by it. Of course, like you like this fact being appreciated, and the other hand is doing the right thing is always the right thing.
Yeah.
Like it just feels good. It just
does.
feels good.
It does. And it's amazing how good it feels. Like, when you do like that, just help somebody out. You sit there and you go like, oh, that actually felt good. But I don't know what. I suppose people do still help each other out. They help each other out more than maybe what we think. I think maybe media-wise, you're only, like, if you pick up the newspapers or even on the internet, you just read the worst of everything because it works. It works in terms of clickbait. People will click that. People will read that because it's got a big headline. Nobody, unfortunately, wants to read I don't know. We raised £50 for this charity. People want to hear about the charity blew 2 million or whatever. In corruption and bribes. And that's just how we're wired as well.
We get easily attracted by those things.
Yeah.
Well,
we all do.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
But then here we are again. When you get conscious about it, like you can work on that.
Yeah.
And then you gotta be attracted by other things, by the complete opposite sometimes. And then
I think the new generation, the millennials as they're called, I think I've got a better grasp on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last two, like the Generation X that I am, was very much of that. You work hard, you sit in your cubicle and you do what you need to do, and because that's what we had for the last maybe 100 years or so. Like and as you worked and as you saved, and you could afford bigger and better things. 100 years ago, people were still living in what you would say now is relative poverty. I would say, they were really struggling to make the breadline. They only had probably one person going to work. They were doing manual labor. So the shift that we've had in the last 100 years is probably greater than we've had in the last billion years. You think of electricity was, I can't remember when electricity was, but it's pretty recent. You're talking back end of the 1800s?
But since my parents are from Serbia, I was like reading a lot about Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
So in the end of 1800, something
like
this.
that. So the shift that we've had, in maybe 150 years now is vast. You're literally gone from just about having a brick house to now I have more power in my phone than what NASA had to put man on the moon. And I can be in contact with people anywhere at any time. We never had that. Think about the phrase, "Where are you?" That only became about because of the phone, the mobile phone. Because before, if you were saying, "Where are you?" you were stood talking to the person, or you might be on a postcard and they're saying, "I am here." "Where are you?" is a new phrase.
Actually, yes, yeah.
15. I
Never
must still be
thought
like,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah. Where are you? 15 years old, 20 years old, something like that. Now is a phrase.
Huh.
Strange, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Good life. Good life. Man,
It really is, man.
I mean,
How are you finding Mexico? It's beautiful, yeah.
everything cool, man.
Man.
Man, I love it. I mean, I'm here more than 2 months already. I
Yeah.
gotta stay 1 month more, I guess, and then heading to Guatemala, maybe with you. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. I mean, I need to go to Chiapas and then Yucatan, and then maybe I'll see you in Guatemala. That's how it works out. But it's really nice. It's really friendly, Mexico. I think it's portrayed one way, like as a bit of a Wild West in Hollywood.
Since your parents are Indians,
Yeah.
I know it from my parents. Serbian culture, like, or let's say Eastern European culture, is really, really similar to the Latin American.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember 3 years ago in Colombia when I was studying, the first weeks I was living with a Colombian family,
Yeah.
like going with them to a birthday party here, like having like family time together was
Yeah.
cool. I didn't have a culture shock at all. It was completely normal for me. It
Yeah.
was like that I was living with a Serbian family. And because of that, I feel here like home at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
And how is it like comparing to the Indian culture? Because I guess you got influenced by it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'd say it's pretty similar. I mean, you as an Indian culture, you're always with your friends, your family. You're always doing something. When I was a kid, every weekend we were at one of my uncles or my auntie's house, and that's what we would do every weekend. And we're lucky that, or I'm lucky that there's 10, 15 of us kids, and there's probably about a 10-year age gap or something between us all. So if you went somewhere, everyone was your age, and but you always did it. It was what you did every weekend. And I kind of feel like it's the same here. People are really willing to help you, and, even if you can't speak any Spanish, they're still trying to help you here.
Mhm.
Even with my really bad little bit of Spanish that I have, people are willing to help you because you try. And it is I think, I kind of, if you're saying Eastern European culture similar, I'm saying Indian culture similar, Mexican, Latin American culture similar. Probably all cultures are pretty similar. We just seem to have got a little bit hard and closed off as well now in our worlds.
Could be. I mean, of course, there are different values in each culture. Some
Yeah.
are more collectivistic, some are more individualistic.
Yeah.
Like the Western countries are more individualistic, driven by this thought of self-actualization.
Yeah.
It isn't a bad thing at all.
No.
But these are things that are like on the top priority. Like there are the top priority in Western cultures, and in Eastern cultures they're not. But I see it like at my Serbian relatives and everything. It's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Self-actualization. I don't want to say that this is good and this is bad. But maybe you're not that wrong with the phrase that we're actually pretty similar. The cultures in general.
It's funny. I mean, how many people do you know now are going to India or Bali or whatever, and they're doing yoga camps, meditation camps? I feel like now the West wants what the East had,
Yeah.
but the East want what the West have.
Good. Yeah.
They're looking at us. We've all got £1,000 iPhones. £1,000 or 1,000, and if you convert that into Thai baht, is a lot of money. For someone in Thailand to go like, yeah, I just bought the brand new iPhone, whatever, and it cost me $1,000 US. So for us to turn around to them and go, yeah, you don't need all this material stuff. Come on, they must look at us like, you fucking talking out your ass, man. And we're all going back to there, going, yeah, I need to meditate for a week, and I need to go, do this yoga retreat and sort my head out and things like that. It's an interesting time, man.
It is. And still, here we are again. It's all about balance in the end. If you are able to maintain and keep this balance in an early age, like if your parents are like smart enough to do that with you as a kid, like to teach you these valuable things, and if you surround yourself by smart people, I would say friends, then you're gonna be able to realize that you're not gonna be, then you don't have to do like I have to fly over there to do this silent retreat, or I mean, nothing against that. Like
no. I mean, if that works for you, then go for it.
Of course, but maybe you can come to a conclusion earlier without doing these things and these things and these things.
I mean, it's all well and good doing, a 20-day retreat, or like we said already about plant medicines, but you have to integrate that back into your life. There's no good doing them and then going home and going back to your same life. But what was the point in doing it? All you've done is spent €2,000 or whatever on, retreat plus your airfare plus this plus that, and then you're going, well, yeah, it's too hard to actually integrate that. And then in a year's going, yeah, I'm not living true to myself. Like, you know, you're just gonna have to make some hard sacrifices at some point. A friend of mine says, everything in moderation, including moderation.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Moderation. Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to go wild. You know, sometimes you have to go all the way up. Sometimes you have to go all the way down.
Man, if I would give a specific name to this episode, it would be Drifting Apart, for real. All the time, like here, there, once again. And since we're drifting apart, it's literally my fault. Like, it's not a fault. It's like how we talk, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm really curious.
I do this a lot, man. You know,
It's
I've done
okay.
this
It's
before.
okay. I love that. Like you can like always like have structured conversations here and there.
Nah.
So that's good, man. That's real. I enjoy that sometimes when I'm sitting with, I don't know, some guys and they're like talking about, you know, God in the world and blah blah.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening, and they can drift apart as much as they want. I don't care, man. I enjoy listening.
It's true.
Because I'm thinking about it like for 40 minutes or something, and I'm really interested in it because you mentioned cricket. I don't know shit about cricket. Like really nothing. And it's a thing in India, right?
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing in the old Commonwealth countries. So, India, England, Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, places
And
that were British colonies.
and in Great Britain as well. It's a thing there, or is it more influenced by?
It's definitely more English. Ireland play a little bit, Scotland play a little bit, Wales play a little bit, but they're not anywhere close as being as big as sort of England are.
And did you play like from the early age, or how did you start playing cricket?
I started. A couple of my friends were really into it. They played at a local club, and I just wanted to be down with my friends. So they were on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, that's where they were going. So I was like, "Yeah, Dad, I want to go." So we went, and that's how it started. And then, how long did I play? 20 years, something like that.
20 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'll always say this, like I was a very average player in a very good sides. But it was good fun, and I have some great friends, I speak to most of them daily, even out here, I'll send the odd WhatsApp message and send them a picture and, see how everybody's doing. So you make great friends. Sport for me is one of the most important things in my life. Definitely. The friends that I made,
agree.
the life lessons that you learn about, you dedicate your time. If you put the effort in, you'll get what you want out of these things.
Bruce Lee said once, everything that he learned for life, he learned from karate.
I can believe that.
And I guess it is like that. If you're fully dedicated to maybe it doesn't have to be sports. You can be like
anything.
I
Music
don't know,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, music. Yeah, especially music. Like if you're dedicated to the fullest to that, you can learn everything from that.
Yeah, you can.
Everything.
You really can.
Like this positive values we were talking about before, and yeah.
I probably learned more life skills playing sport than I did at school. Well, in fact, there's no problem. Definitely,
Yeah.
I learned. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You have different friends, different social groups, understanding how to interact, and you understand what it's about, but what it's like to be part of a collective. Because football team, the same as cricket team, there's 11 of you, and if one of you has a bad game, essentially you don't win. And in maybe a little bit less in football, you can have one superstar who will always win you a game. In cricket, you can't do that.
Here we are again, the ants colony. As a single ant or a single human, you're useless. You need the team, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, man.
I love that. I love this collectivistic feeling.
Yeah.
Like especially in sports, like when you're winning as a team and like and what I really enjoy the most, like of course I enjoy the most when we're like having a good game and winning.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it as well when somebody is playing really shit, like for example like making a shitty pass or whatever, and then I see another one in the team who is encouraging him, who's like clapping hands, yo, come on, the next one is gonna be better.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
if you're like pushing him a little bit, if you're holding his back, and not like, okay, he's doing shitty things, and you're like, come on, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You're not gonna improve his skills in this moment.
Nah.
You have to encourage him a little bit.
Fuck that. And it's good to see him when you have years where you have a bad season. You look back and you go, what am I doing? Then you turn up the next season, you have an amazing season. Everything goes right for you, but everyone loves it. Because you've put the work in and you stick with it, and that's. Come back to life, man. That's how it is.
Man, I just want to play football right now. For real. Like I'm really hyped. For example, like when we're talking about life lessons and sports and everything, what I learned about football, for example, is that the little things matter. Like every single pass could be like this key pass to the goal. Like could be the assist for the goal. Doesn't matter how shitty the pass sometimes is, man. These little things matter.
Yeah.
These little things matter as well how you stand sometimes. If you stand like a little bit more to the left, covering this room, that could be like the solution for the whole game.
Yeah.
Or for the situation to not concede a goal or to score a goal. And that's what I've sometimes like really enjoy about players like you got at Liverpool Roberto Firmino.
Yep.
This guy, like his sense of like how he's covering some rooms is amazing. The same thing with Olivier Giroud.
Yep.
At the French national team, especially when they won the World Cup, he didn't score any single goal at a World Cup, and he's a striker.
Amazing.
But he was doing good, man. He was covering the rooms, and there are like the little things that you don't see, or maybe just in retrospective, and then you're like, wow.
I really like Giroud. I think he's super underrated. I really do. Like he's kind of got it all. He can do the flicks, he can do the fancy stuff. He scores goals. He's got it all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and you remember this back heel goal?
Oh, that's a beauty, man.
Fuck.
Like a scorpion, a back heel. Oh, that was special.
Yeah.
Was that in the World Cup?
No. That was like for Arsenal.
Was it?
Yeah, for 100%. I guess it was for. Yeah,
I think so. You might be right, but yeah, that was a beautiful goal, man. That really was.
Maybe because. Yeah, fuck that. Let's talk about football a little bit because I guess you're into it.
Yeah. So I grew up a Leeds fan. Leeds got relegated around 2002. And then I sort of, at that sort of time, I was going to university, and my good friend at university was a massive Liverpool fan. So then I started following him through watching Liverpool, and we used to go to the bar in university, and it's called the Orange Box, and we went there every week. And every time we went, Liverpool won. We're like, right, we're coming back here next week.
Yeah.
So it was the year they won the Champions League. So we went there, we watched, which Liverpool beat Juventus 3-1, like absolutely played them off the park, and that was a really good Juventus side that year. It was a really good game that came back. I think Liverpool lost at home, maybe 1-0 or drew 0-0, something like that. Got to the next game. I can't remember who they had, but they win. Then they have Chelsea in the semi-final with Luis Garcia's ghost goal, and Mourinho's complaining that it never went in.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah. I mean, it was just an amazing run to go through, like every week. Yeah, we're going back. And then we got to the final. We go back to the same bar. It's 3-0 at half time. Me and my friend against AC Milan were like, should we go home? Yeah, we go to the shop. We go get some alcohol. We go back to we watch the second half. We get some pizza in. Fuck it, don't worry. He was like, I've got one more pint. I was like, all right, fine. We'll have this one, and we go home. Was it Gerrard header or penalty?
Gerrard
header.
Was it a header of Gerrard? I don't know if it's but then Schmitzer,
yeah,
like the Czech guy,
yeah,
and Xabi Alonso the penalty. It like the goalkeeper saved the penalty, but
and then Alonso scores the rebound, and and it was so fast. Like it went from 3-0 to 3-2, and we were like, we're staying here now, man. Let's stay. It's just one of those
free.
Yeah, and so kind of since that, I've followed Liverpool. My dad's a big Liverpool fan as well, so watch quite a bit of football. Not kind of as much as I used to. Definitely haven't watched any out here though yet. But still enjoy it. I still keep an eye on the results, see how Leeds are doing, see how Liverpool are doing.
Oh man, one thing that I enjoyed the most in the last couple of days because I didn't use my phone for 5 days consciously because I just wanted to chill, everything cool, and it was great. And I was like, okay, let's turn it on. And the number one thing that I did at first, opening my app, Eurosport, and then checking the results, and oh fuck, nice, just updating myself. I don't know, I like that. I just love the statistics things, and I'm completely into it. Man.
Yeah, I spoke to my dad. I wanted to see how, because Liverpool played Man City, and I wanted to see how they got on, but it sounds like Liverpool blew them out of the water. But then there was a penalty decision or something that
some
could have
VAR
got
actions again.
Yeah, I mean VAR's. I think overall it will definitely be better for the game, but I think the way they've gone about implementing VAR is not as good as like tennis or cricket or rugby or anything like that. They've kind of gone with if you want to review, it's on you to review the decision, whereas we're reviewing every goal with VAR. It takes 5 minutes. How far back do you want to go in the play? I suppose with all the other sports, the play is kind of that little small segment, and therefore you can do it quite easily. Whereas football, the ball could go backwards and forwards 3 or 4 times before it's gone out of play or the goal scored.
Mm-hmm.
Is that classed as then one section of play, and how far back do you go then to review VAR? Don't know.
I
don't know. I mean, I'm sure ultimately it's the most popular sport in the world, so they will get it right eventually.
I guess so.
But it's just going to take. It might be a little bit of a bitch to get done first. But
I have one one of my most favorite clubs is in England, playing the first division, but a little bit lower.
yeah,
What do you think is my favorite club? Not of these typical clubs like these top six. Not at all.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of famous Austrians or Serbians that have
No,
been
not
over.
at all. No Austrians playing there and no Serbians. But I gotta tell you, it doesn't matter.
Go on.
Because my brother grew up. It's actually due to the PlayStation game FIFA,
Yep.
like PlayStation, whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to the video game. And he's a huge Everton fan,
Yeah.
and I'm a huge fucking Norwich City fan. I love Norwich. I mean, they're doing bad
They're
right
doing,
now.
yeah.
But man, I just love this. I don't know. I love
like it.
supporting like smaller clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I don't have like this personal relation
No.
to the club, but due to this game, because I was playing them all the time, like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I became like interested in it, and then in the club history as well. So I was reading some stuff here and there, and now I know like who is playing there and
They've been a big side in the past as well, Norwich and Everton, both.
yeah, they're like
yeah.
they were doing good at the beginning, but now
yeah.
they're like last.
Yeah. But I think like in Norwich's history, like they've won, they've won quite a lot of things. They're a big club, and the same with Everton.
I mean,
They have
big
been.
club.
Well, maybe in the 80s then, and it's some interest to see some clubs like that who didn't quite get things right and have kind of tailed off, and some clubs who got it right. Like you look at Manchester United, and what they've done is phenomenal. Like it's just unbelievable to go to take the stadium that they had, but they were the first people to understand commercials and revenue, and it was about making not just bigger stadium stands to get more people in, but the ability to sell more beer, more food, more and that's what's made them where they are. They're now a 70,000 seater stadium, 74,000 they get at Old Trafford.
I don't know, to be honest,
Yeah,
but could be
it's in that.
definitely, yeah.
But if I've been to Old Trafford a few times, and every stand, the bar area is always able to serve you. Whereas I've been to some games, and you might not get served for 20 minutes. You miss 10 minutes of the game because you haven't been able to get a drink and some food. But not at United. They're on it.
But
And
sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting. So, but fuck, I'm gonna interrupt. I don't care. Because you're mentioning a bar, and even though I'm not drinking, I'm really interested in the whole thing England is known for, the bar culture, like these pubs that you have.
Yeah.
How is that
Yeah.
actually? How, like, is everybody going to the pubs after work or how?
not anymore. In London, you still get a very big pub culture, driven a little bit by London culture in general. And in London, you got the tube, so you can stop for 2 drinks and get the tube. You're not driving home. Whereas most other places, you can't really stop for a drink because you've got to drive home. And the legal limit in England is two units,
2 units, okay.
which in modern day beer is about 1.5 pints or 1.5 bottles. So yeah, it's not quite, and the pubs have died a death, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're really tailing off because it's now £3-4 to go drink a pint in the pub or in the boozer, whereas I can go to the supermarket and I can probably buy, I can buy cans for 50 pence or whatever. It's unfortunately, and that has definitely had an effect on the communities. Once upon a time, you knew everybody in the pub, and therefore you would just, oh yeah, I need a Sparky, or so and so is a Sparky. I need this light fitting change or whatever. We'd just get him to do it, and that kind of disappeared now. So the old word of mouth, it's not as good as what it used to be. It's a bit of a shame.
I mean, still
comes back to sense of community.
Yeah.
And booze, alcohol is definitely not the most positive thing, but it does have some positive parts to it.
That's right, though. Like here again, it's all about balance.
Balance.
If you're not exaggerating.
Yeah.
Everything cool, man. Everything cool.
It is.
I would guess we're coming to an end, right?
I mean, we have beautiful sunsets out here, man.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. We should enjoy the sunset, like in
man.
half an hour or so. But I gotta buy some stuff, like I don't know, at least nuts or fruits, whatever,
Yeah.
because I want a snack. And
I went up to San Jose, and the sunset from San Jose is pretty spectacular.
Okay.
We're definitely worth just because you're in the mountains, you're literally at cloud level,
Okay.
and you can actually see the faint distance of the sea. So when you see the sunset, you don't see it set behind the mountain. You actually see it set into the sea.
Do you mean San Jose? What is here, like in Oaxaca, or San Jose in Costa Rica?
No, San Jose here. San
Okay.
Jose, Del Pacifico.
Ah, fair enough.
It's up in the mountains on the way into Oaxaca City.
Huh. I mean,
it's
I don't
3
know
hours.
if I gotta make it, but still good to know. But on the other hand, this sunset here is amazing as well. So,
It is. It's stunning out here, man.
man,
It really is.
Nari, I know that we could like talk for 3 hours more and
Yeah, yeah.
everything. Maybe we're gonna okay. Since we're gonna travel the same route more or less.
Yeah.
But you're gonna leave a little bit earlier than me.
Yeah, a couple of days. I think I need to do.
Maybe we're gonna meet each other in Chiapas or in Guatemala or wherever.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna record one more.
I think we definitely do one more.
For like maybe I don't know. Either it's gonna be like this or maybe about one specific topic. We're gonna talk about it. But I'm really looking forward to it. Like, and
Yeah,
I enjoy
definitely,
this
man.
conversation. Like my brain is right now like completely chilled and everything. And really,
It's been an interesting one,
Yeah.
man. It really has. And we got everywhere on this one.
Nari,
I like it, man. Bro.
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Guys,
Definitely. Thank you. Peace,
Shout out
guys.
to Nari once again, and peace.
We got this, guys. We got this.